the revelation of Jesus Christ. But before I go into that, I'd like to say a very brief introduction about the whole Holy Bible. We can divide the entire Holy Bible, both in its Old and Testament portions, into four parts. Four parts of the Old Testament, or the Old Testament divided into four parts, and equivalent to it, the New Testament divided into four parts. The first part is the book of the law, Torah, or the book of Moses, Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. This is the first part of the Old Testament. What is equivalent or in line with it in the New Testament are the four Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. The second part, you have the historical books. We have the law, the Torah, and then the historical books like 1st and 2nd Chronicles. These are the Old Testament. The historical book equivalent to it in the New Testament is the book of Acts. This is the historical book of the New Testament. The third part are the poetic books. The poetic books of the Old Testament, they start with the book of Job, book of Psalms, and then Proverbs, Ecclesiastes, and Song of Solomon. They are 5 poetic books. Equivalent to it in the New Testament are the epistles of St. Paul, St. James, St. Peter, St. John, and St. Jude. These epistles are called the epistles of teachings. They teach you about Christianity. So the poetic book in the Old Testament, equivalent to them, the epistles of St. Paul and the other apostles as well. And then we have the fourth part of the Old Testament, which is the prophetic books, beginning with the prophecy of Isaiah, ending with the prophecy of Malachi or Malachi. So these are the prophets, and in the New Testament we have one prophetic book, which is the topic of this evening, the book of Revelation. The book of Revelation is a prophetic, symbolic book of the New Testament. Now, when we come to the book of Revelation, we can divide it into 3 sections. The first section takes up chapter 1, and then the second section is chapter 2 and 3 together. And then from chapter 4 till the end of the book of Revelation, chapter 22, is the third section. The first section, chapter 1, is an introduction to the book of Revelation. Chapter 2 and 3 is the church history in the prophetic sense. Is the church history in the prophetic sense. And then chapter 4 to 22 talks about the Great Tribulation, and then the wrath of God coming down on the entire globe and on the entire human race. And then the wrath of God is actually revealed in 1, seals, 2, trumpets, and 3, bowls. Seal represent authentication. Trumpet represents warnings, and bowls represent the judgment passed on to the human race.